I'm Miss Boak, Director of English, and I've been at Parkside School for 5 years now. I really enjoy teaching at Parkside. The students here are great. They're always interested and up for a challenge. It can be difficult sometimes. We have some very challenging texts that we have to teach at GCSE, and in order to get there, down in Key Stage 3, we also have to introduce challenging texts, but the students are great and it's always fun. English cuts across the whole of the curriculum. It's important for communication. It's important to explain who you are, what you believe in, what you think. And so giving anybody those skills, the skill to express themselves and explain, what they think about the world, is wonderful. It's a great opportunity, but it's absolutely vital that we're all able to speak up and say what we think.
My name is Mr. Hoban. I teach history. I'm the Director of Humanities and I've been here for about a year.
How have you found it?
I've loved it. I've loved it. It's a much smaller school than what I was at before, but I think with that is a closeness. I think you get to know the students really well. History is important because it is the glue for the whole curriculum. It makes everything else only makes sense when you know the history of it, when you know what's come before, what issues we've had before, how we've overcome them, and that only then puts everything else into place. Science is only as useful as it is because we've seen those problems that we've had before and worked out how we've overcome them. Geography, why have people moved from places? Well, that only makes sense because of the history. Even you can, maths and things, it gets really interesting when we start looking at the history of the mathematical thought and where we've come from since ancient Greece and through all the way through to code breakers in Bletchley. I mean, history is everything, and without history, we are nothing.
So I'm Mrs. Welsh. I'm Head of Science at Parkside Community School. Teach science to GCSE here, both biology, chemistry and physics, and I've been here for about 1.5 years now. Science is everything. So science is from the smallest molecules that build into the most ginormous buildings. It's in every single person, it's in every single plant, every single animal, and it's just part of our everyday life. You can't get by without science. Your body doesn't function without science. You can't communicate without science, and the links that it has with technology and the advances that our society is currently making would not be possible without science in our lives. Okay, so I am a biologist at heart. I love understanding the way that the body works and actually getting to grips with that and being able to see that at different levels. But I'm also a bit of a pyromaniac, so I have to say I love the chemistry element and being able to try out different experiments and see what's going to happen.
My name's Mrs. Asher and I am Head of Languages but also Director of Learning here at Parkside Community School. I love teaching at Parkside. It's got such a lovely atmosphere and feeling of warmth, and knowing all the students, it's just really, really nice in comparison to previous schools where I've worked in much larger, bigger schools. Yeah, I love it. It's great. The advantages of working in a smaller school is that we know the students really well on a one-to-one basis. That way we can really tailor and personalise their learning in lessons. You'll find that you quickly develop great relationships with all the teachers, and students feel really settled and able to talk and communicate with their teachers. For me, languages is so important. I think if you asked any of our members of our department, Mrs. Parsons or Mr. Nolan, languages have really played such an immense important part of our lives that we want to give that back to the students. And if we can inspire students to learn different languages and to have an open mind of how they view the world and different cultures, then I think that that's what's really important. We live in such a multicultural society, and there's so many fantastic opportunities that we can experience in the world outside of Chesterfield, outside of our local area, that it's really important that we have that understanding of different lifestyles, different cultures, different celebrations all across the world. And hopefully by studying Spanish here, we bring a little bit of authenticity of Spain and Spanish-speaking countries into the classroom.
I'm Mrs O'Sullivan and I teach PE and I've been at Parkside for 2.5 years. The thing I like about teaching at Parkside is that everyone's really friendly and you get to know the pupils quickly and you get to know them well, so you build really strong relationships with them. We have lots of teams that we take out to compete against other Chesterfield schools, so we have teams in rounders, in netball, athletics, football, rugby and lots of other sports that we have really good uptake for. We also do after-school clubs where you can just come along and have a go. We're really lucky to have a fitness suite here that's full of equipment, including treadmills, bikes, rowing machines, weights. We use it a lot in PE lessons, both at Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. We also open it after school, so people can come in and improve their fitness in their own time. I love my subject and I think it's really important because it helps you get fit. It helps you learn a whole range of sports that we take part in PE, have a little bit of a breather and improve your mental health. It gives you a chance to be you and play lots of different games.
We're studying later, but also into everyday life.
So my name's Anthony Chipp. I'm the Director of Arts here at Parkside. So my job involves looking after music, art and performing arts within the school. I've been at the school for about a year and I've loved it. It's a phenomenally interesting place to work. It's the individual students that I meet here. I don't know whether it's because it is a small school, but they seem very confident and very able. And when we start discussing ideas and concepts, they really care deeply about some of the things that we touch on in drama. I think it's incredibly important that students have a voice, and I think performing arts gives that to them. It doesn't really matter if you're good at something or if you know something, unless you can have the confidence to stand up and say it or do that thing. And performing arts helps you have the confidence to say what you think and feel, and persuade people that what you think is right. And I think that's incredibly important to teach students. And it's fun, you know. It's so different from everything else on the curriculum. It's just really, really good fun. You can see the students coming into the classroom and they kind of drop their kind of school baggage and they start being more themselves within the class. And yeah, it's great. I love my job.
Hello, I'm Mrs Wharton. I'm the Director of Science and Technology and I teach Design Technology and Engineering. I think Parkside is a really unusual school in that it's really small for a secondary school, and that creates a very different atmosphere than I've ever seen at any other school, in terms of the support that students get here, how well I get to know the students as a teacher, and hopefully that comes across in the lessons that students have. And still the breadth of curriculum that students manage to have here. They've got a broad amount of option subjects to help them, you know, have the best future that they possibly can. Design and technology and engineering are really important to the curriculum because they are the practical application of all of the other subject areas, in my opinion. It's using your learning from maths, from science, from art and a range of other subject areas and putting it into something really practical that you can make, whether you're an engineer in the future, whether you're a biochemist, biomedical scientist. It's making the things that you learn into a vocation.